Clement Leung. He's the Hong Kong Commissioner for Economic and Trade Affairs to the United States. He's the senior-most representative of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region government in North America. Clement, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Anna.
So Hong Kong and China worked out a one country, two systems framework that affords Hong Kong some degree of autonomy as far as its economy is concerned, but it also incorporates Hong Kong into China. How well has that system worked over the past 20 years?
I think it works very well for Hong Kong. And of course, Hong Kong continued to be very successful as the premier international business center in Asia. And of course, if you look at some of the key indicators, Hong Kong's GDP per capita increased by 60% in the past 2 decades. Our government finance has been very strong. Our reserve is very strong, and we now have about 25 months of government expenditure, very strong foreign exchange reserves to back up the Hong Kong dollar. And our stock market cap has increased by 8 times to $3 trillion. Just earlier this month, the IMD has ranked Hong Kong as the most competitive economy in the world. We are the undefeated champion as the freest economy of the world for 23 years by the Heritage Foundation, lowest crime rate in 40 years, a state of full employment, and Hong Kong people is now one of the longest living human beings on this planet, as our life expectancy has been longer than that of Japan.
You know, when the system was adopted 20 years ago, there was a fair degree of skepticism, especially in the West, about how the system would work, whether it would work. When we look at Hong Kong's achievements over the past 20 years, is that skepticism now put to rest?
Well, to be very honest, when this concept of one country, two systems was proposed, there was a fair degree of skepticism as to whether it would work. But as I just mentioned, if you look at a lot of the indicators, Hong Kong has been very successful. Of course, no one can claim to be problem-free. And of course, Hong Kong has many challenges to deal with. Of course, some people are concerned about whether Hong Kong will continue to maintain our high degree of competitiveness among the world, in the world stage. And so we have to deal with these issues as well. And of course, on the political side, some people are concerned whether Hong Kong people will continue to exercise their political rights, whether our civil liberties will be protected, and whether Hong Kong's political system will be moving towards a more democratic system. I would like to point out to them that if you look at Hong Kong objectively, you can see that we have very strong institutional strength. The rule of law is still very strong. Our judiciary has been very independent, and we have a high degree of transparency, a level playing field for companies. And we also have a very strong protection of Hong Kong people's civil liberties, very strong civil society as well. So I was always telling people that, yes, there are concerns, but there is no need to be pessimistic. One country, two system continue to be able to ensure that Hong Kong remains stable and prosperous.
As you say, Hong Kong remains stable and prosperous, and you pointed out in that report, where it's seen as one of the most competitive economies in the world right now. What has that done for the people of Hong Kong?
I think we are in a very fortunate position whereby we are now part of China, and that we are able to capture, as a first mover, a lot of the opportunities arising from the development, reform, and opening up of China. Now China is an $11 trillion economy. It has a lot of needs for services, and Hong Kong is one of the world's best service economies, and that provide us a lot of specific benefits, particularly in the creation of jobs, higher income for our people, more businesses for our companies. As China become the second largest economy, there's a lot of needs, and Hong Kong is able to provide a lot of services. Our financial services sector, our trade and logistics sector, and as well as our professional services companies.
If we look at the Chinese mainland's broader economic goals, I mean, one of its signature projects, international projects, is the Belt and Road Initiative. How does Hong Kong fit into that?
We are very excited and encouraged by this Belt and Road Initiative. Hong Kong has joined the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, the AIIB, as a member. So we look forward to be a piece of the action. Since Hong Kong is one of the premier international financial centers, we would be encouraging the AIIB to have its treasury and financial functions in Hong Kong. We are a good center for raising funding for infrastructure projects in Asia. And our airport authority and our MTR are one of the best operators of airports and metro and railway. So they will be able to contribute a part of that. There is a lot of demand for capital for financing the infrastructural construction in the Belt and Road countries. Hong Kong will be able to facilitate the financing of these projects and for companies to underwrite the risk, provide consultancy, project management, arbitration, and tax advice, and so on. So this is something that we very much look forward to in respect of infrastructure financing. Not just that, trade and logistics. Hong Kong hosts one of the world's largest trade shows in a number of products. We're encouraging these Belt and Road countries to make use of Hong Kong's platform to buy and sell products. And that opened up a lot of room for the harmonization of trade policies and opportunities for Hong Kong to conclude more free trade agreements with the Belt and Road countries. And of course, we are also doing a lot to encourage more people-to-people exchanges. And so we are setting aside a lot of funding for young people and students to do educational and cultural exchange. So we are all very excited by the possibilities, and the Belt and Road Initiative could be a very strong engine for our future growth.
Okay, sir, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We are going to take a break right now. Coming up, how has the relationship between Hong Kong and the Chinese mainland evolved in the past 20 years? Our panel discusses that and more. Stay with us. You're watching The Heat.